Welcome to the trap. Welcome to the trap.
Welcome to the trap. Welcome to the trap. Welcome to the trap. Welcome to the trap.
Let's go. Zen.
Trap.
Zen.
Trap.
Zen.
Trap.
Zen.
Trap.
Protect.
Yo, peace.
Protect your energy.
How you doing?
I'm good, man. Life is good. Traveling, just getting rest. We had a rainy day, so it was just good to get rest on that rainy day. I didn't do much. Read a little bit.
A lot of traveling, flying through your city like you got superpowers.
Come on, that.
Thought he was here to save the day.
LG the villain, knocking down twins.
You seen any movies lately, LG the villain?
Yeah. I've seen a movie lately.
Tell
and
me
this
about
is
it.
this one's intense. And I love movies where a woman is the center of the movie,
Ooh.
but she's strong. So this is one of those motivated movies for me. Very pretty young girl.
Okay.
Ends up being an orphan. Wild stuff happened to her family. So her uncle ends up taking her in, and he is her protector. He becomes like her best friend.
Okay.
She sets her mind is made up very early on what she wants to do in life, and she's a subject matter expert at that, I would say. And her work is beautiful. Like she's I would almost say an artist. I don't know if you would define it as art, but some people would define it as art. So she continues on through life. She gets, of age, and her uncle's like, all right, cool. You can go do your art all over the world. Just be careful. Like, care after yourself. She became a very secretive person. So she was almost like this secret artist. No one knew who was making this art all over the world. But it was like these beautiful, like, masterpieces that she would create all over, and everybody was kind of searching for this artist. Like, where's this person? They thought it was a man. They didn't know if it was a woman. Like, they just didn't know. And so her uncle was trying to keep her, like, just kind of like, hey, you don't want, everybody's kind of searching for you. Lay low, like, calm down. And she began dating a guy, and he basically like saw some of her art. And so she was like, well, I won't say he saw it. He kind of heard about it. And so she was so secretive about her art and stuff. And so he ended up like taking a picture of her and put it on maybe like, I don't know if he put it on social media, but somehow it got to like the internet, the digital world. Wow. And they were able to figure out who this artist was. And like people really started like searching her. So it was like a manhunt for her. So it was crazy. Have you seen this movie?
I have not seen this movie. I have not.
You have not seen this movie? I think you've seen
this
this
movie. Good,
movie.
though.
It's a good movie.
It's a good movie.
What
movie is this?
Colombiana.
Yeah. Yeah, that's probably Colombiana. I might have only seen Colombiana once, so I would not have.
Okay, I've seen it several times.
Ooh, it
That's
sounds like
that's
your girl too.
Yeah, I like her. I like Zoe.
You an Avatar girl.
I'm an Avatar girl. Welcome back to the Zen Trap Podcast. I'm one of your two hosts, Yogi LG.
Zen P.
The mission here at the Zen Trap Podcast is to inspire and empower listeners to continuously seek internal peace to maximize their personal potential.
Beautiful.
Man, we got a ZTP today, a Zen Trap Perspective.
For sure.
It's a book review. We read a really good book. The theme of the month, the topic of the month is productivity and time management. So it's still on par with that. Zen P, tell them what we got today.
Zen P here. Nah. All right, so like Yogi LG said, we got a book review. I did the audio version, but I can still give you the title. It is Feel Good Productivity, How to Do More of What Matters to You by Ali Abdaal. Now, this was a great pick, great book. Ali Abdaal, if you don't know, is a doctor. I think he's a doctor now. He was studying to be a surgeon, and in his life of in pursuing that dream to become a surgeon, you got to go through a lot of schooling and stuff. He felt he wanted to be more efficient with how he studies and gets through his work and stuff. So he's now become almost a productivity like expert. That's what his whole YouTube channel is about.
Yep.
How to do more. And writing this book is kind of is what it says. But Yogi LG, why don't you tell me what you got from it? Like if you gave me an overall summary, what's this book about?
It's honestly about one, which I was kind of surprised at, is how to make yourself feel good. how to make yourself feel like being productive and all the things that you could do around that. So I think when it says feel good productivity, I didn't really know what that meant until I kind of got into the book and how everything is around like, okay, what's going to actually make you feel like doing the things that you want to get done. So that would be a general concept of like how I view the book. What about you?
I would agree. It's about kind of making sure what we talk about a little bit, protecting your peace and your energy so that you can do more, making sure you're minding your hat so that you can do more, stay productive, how to sustain it, how to re-energize yourself, know what drains your energy,
get clarity on it,
and get
be
clarity
courageous,
and be aligned with what you want to do. So It's all about almost everything I feel like we talk about here on this podcast.
Another good thing is I think just how he had the chapters laid out, it became like very clear like what was the priorities. So I thought that was really cool as well about the
All
book.
right, so let's start it off then. Favorite section.
All right. Favorite section was probably alignment.
Oh, you so authentic.
Yeah. I guess it was just like, because it talks about these 9 categories that are of importance, and are you in alignment in all of those categories? And I think that kind of just, I even think another bar in that area where he was basically, and maybe it's a concept about like writing out your obituary.
Oh yeah.
I thought that was so powerful because I was like, man, that really highlights what you want to like. You want people to remember you by. And like, are you aligned in all of those areas? If I want to highlight all of these 9 areas in my obituary, where do I want to be at the end of my life?
That was crazy good. And it was the obituary and the eulogy as well.
Yeah.
And I thought he took it a step further in your favorite section, where not only do you write it for yourself and see how you are aligned with that trajectory, like these things that you're saying you would like to do in your life, how are you measuring up in those different areas? Also, what would people say at your funeral? Do you have a good understanding of how people perceive you as well?
Right.
If people were to come to your funeral, what do you believe they would say? And are you okay with that? Are you good with that? That's the biggest thing for me. So if you can say you don't care what people think and stuff, but more so your friends and family, because clearly strangers ain't gonna be the people you care about that would be at your funeral. If they were to say these things, how would that make you feel? What would you want them to say? And how can you make sure they're saying, like, how do you align
yourself with making sure
great chapter. I'm trying to think.
What about you? Did you have a favorite section?
I definitely had a favorite section. My favorite section would either be the beginning section, which is about, because with feel good productivity is kind of like we're saying, finding ways to make sure you're able to sustain your energy and the things that you want to do so that you can do those difficult tasks. But he's talking about thinking of this almost even like a game. How can you add fun into the things you're doing, which I know that's probably controversial for a lot of other people who don't enjoy fun activities, or just be like, I don't care how you feel. You need to just get it done. This goes at that a little bit by saying, how can I still install a little bit of fun in these mundane tasks or boring tasks? So in the beginning, it talks about picking what character type you are that can align with different activities that you would seem as fun. And these different character types, I can read some of them out. Let's see. So it is 8 character types. Yep. You got a collector, competitor, explorer, creator, storyteller, a joker, a director, and a... you want to read that K word? I don't even remember how to... Number 8.
Oh. Kinesthete? Like an athlete?
Sure, let's call it that. Kinesthete. Yeah, like an athlete. Kinesthete. A kinesthete. Maybe, whatever. But either way, just high level, the kinesthete finds play in physical activities like aerobics, gymnastics, free running. Director likes to plan and organize. A joker likes to make people laugh. Storyteller has active imagination so they can entertain others. Creators finds joy in making things. An explorer likes to wander and discover new places and things they haven't seen before. Competitor just enjoys games and sports and takes pleasure in trying their best in winning. And a collector loves to gather and organize activities like searching for rare plants or rummaging around in archives. So I'm sure you can combine some of these and get it down to 4. But I love just knowing yourself so much. You got to have a certain amount of awareness to know which character type you can fall in. So I really like that part of the beginning of the book, trying to figure out what's your play personality like so you know what fun you're looking for.
Yeah.
Which one would you say most resonates with you out of those character types, you think?
Probably a competitor.
Competitor?
I think ultimately I like competition. But I'm a little bit of a
Yeah, I'm sure it's a mix.
Yeah, I'm a little bit of a director, storyteller, a joker.
I'm a joker competitor for sure.
Joker.
I love to install jokes if we can.
Yeah.
I can definitely get hit in some of all these different areas, but competition definitely does it for me. It doesn't have to be much on the line. I just enjoy
And what made, I think that even section and talking about play in general is just saying like the concept that stood out to me was like, all right, when you're doing something that you like are hesitating or procrastinating on, why don't you just say like, what would make this fun? Like, what would it make this more fun? I think even you said sometimes you do tasks and you imagine you're in a music video. Like, oh man, maybe that'd be more fun. Like if I was in a music video doing this, how would I do it?
Even you bringing out your competition side.
Exactly.
Timing it.
Yep.
How fast can I
do
this
Yeah,
and
exactly.
still keep quality up?
Yep.
So asking yourself different questions can make some mundane tasks helpful. Also, this book, so he's a scientist by trade, even when you're thinking about it like that, because he's trying to become or is on his way or is a surgeon now or whatever. The book is very science-based, which I know that might not work for some people, but I really enjoyed that piece of it. One of the biggest sections was he gave a formula for confidence.
Yes.
I love that formula for confidence.
All right, what you got? I think, I got mine.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna get to that, and I'm gonna just finish up again. What also made the character section my favorite section is two things too. One is, and I may bring this back to you in the end. What's your relationship like with failure as well when you're a character? How well are you with perceiving failure, accepting failure? Just like, what is your relationship with failure around tasks that you deem you must do? And then when you are a competitor and you like to play as well, this is something I've recognized, and I think it's a lot of things in this book that you recognize that are kind of layman and simple, but they're so complex and deep to me as well. You don't, as a competitor, you never really want to play games with people who are too serious, one. So if somebody's too serious, it's going to take the fun out of it. Like you need to relax. But also if somebody doesn't take it seriously enough, you don't want to play against them either. Yep. So if they're either skill level or if they're just interest in playing is not up, you like, we ain't got to do this.
You don't got to do this. You don't got to play with me.
You don't even want to. You don't want to compete.
Yeah.
So I love the breakdown of that as well, of understanding it's the people you want to compete against are the ones that actually want to compete too. Want to compete to get something from both of us.
Absolutely.
But yes, going into the definition, do you have it?
Yeah, I got it. Self-confidence equals the perception of abilities minus the perception of requirements.
Woo! Break that down, please, because
right.
we can stay on that. And this is from chapter 2, Power, which would be my close second.
It's good.
The only reason I it's not that, what's the word I'm trying to say? It's not my favorite just because from life coaching studies, I've learned a lot in this section. But if you are someone who struggles with any kind of self-confidence or self-esteem issues, the chapter 2 on Power is amazing for you. And it talks all about trying to figure out your locus of control and figuring out what you can control, feeling okay with that, and feeling okay with the things you can't control. But if you could give us that definition again and break it down and what it means to you.
I'll break it down. So self-confidence equals perception of abilities minus perception of requirements. So my belief in my own self is less than what I think is required of the task. So for example, I feel like, in order for me to cook a meal in an hour, it's going to take some chopping skills that I don't have. So then I feel like less secure about it. Like, nah, I don't want to do it. I think it requires more than what I obtain myself. That was a beautiful definition of self-confidence.
Definition.
Wow.
Literally just saying every time, just like you said, when I don't feel like I have the necessary skills to do something and I'm not confident in those skills, I'm not going to feel confident in wanting to do that task.
Right.
Whenever that outweighs what was the other side?
Whenever it outweighs what you mean?
So
the perception of requirements.
The perception of requirements.
Yeah.
Wait, what was the other side?
The other side is abilities.
Yeah, your abilities versus the perception of requirements.
Yeah.
So your how good you really are versus the perceived amount that it takes. Because sometimes that can be
both of them can be wrong. One
both
of them can be wrong.
That's what I'm saying.
So I always look at it like, I think a lot of my friends feel like I perceive things like the requirements on the other side are so high.
Let's get into it. That's what I'm talking about.
So this definitely resonated with me because I'm like, nah, I feel like I'm making an accurate assessment of what it takes, and I'm telling you, like, I don't think I got that. And sometimes they feel like, nah, it don't take that much, and sometimes they feel like, oh, you definitely got it. Like, so one of those, I could be wrong in either assessment, either of myself or the requirements that I think is necessary.
And to give an example, it's one that comes quickly to mind because I talked to you and Jalon about this one time. Whenever we're on trips and stuff, I'm usually the one that gets a lot of footage of stuff, just random things. Mm-hmm. And they swear up and down, it's God's gift to green. I'm like, oh my God, how would you know to look at that and see that and do this? And I'm like, that is not you again, your perception of the requirements that you think it takes, you're really putting it on a pedestal. It's not on a pedestal. It's really just taking pictures and videos of either everything or things that you care about, and then you can try and manipulate it later. You ain't got, but if you never get the footage, you don't have anything to work on. Yeah. So in that example itself, they put a lot of weight on, I guess, the end outcome and the result instead of just thinking about, what you really only need is just to create a gap of space inside of the moment to just remember to take the picture.
Yeah.
That's all that is required.
Yeah.
Everything else you're saying is you just don't want to do it. Like what? At that point.
You just don't want to do it. Yeah. So I think that was a really good.
I love that.
I love that one for sure. Power was a good section. I also felt like people was a good section. And probably to give a bar from the people section, choosing to be candid over honest. And that was like so good to me because
I'm excited about Charlamagne's book coming out. Shameless plug about why small talk doesn't matter. Getting candid and honest. I love that.
Yeah. So to me, he said something about when we say the word honest, it's almost as if we hold the truth instead of being candid, which means like, this is how I view it, and I'm being honest, like I'm being real with how I feel about how I view it. Yes. Like this is my truth, and not I hold the truth. This is I'm just being honest. You're being candid. Like, ooh, I'm about to tag some people with that. They gonna hate me.
See, you gotta watch out.
I'm gonna be an asshole with them. I'm telling you now. Sorry.
So I've seen a quote that goes around that where. And I've said this a lot of times in my close relationships, friends, and in my relationship. It's not necessarily your intentions. I'm never questioning the people around me intentions a lot of the time. It's the impact on what you say. So sometimes how you said it or how you chose to deliver it is an impact. And we can talk about the impact, and we don't have to necessarily talk about the intentions, because if the intentions are good, but it's not coming across in the way you intended, then that's when it becomes, I guess, more of a, not necessarily an issue, but that's where the hostility and things come across, because now you're feeling like, I was just trying to do something good. And it's like, we talking about intentions. We're not talking about the impact. Yeah. More so, again, asking those questions of, okay, well, this was being candid. This was how I intended for this to go. Why did it not come across that way to you? And now you putting the problem or the issue in the middle of them saying, okay, well, when you said it or chose that word or when you did this, that's what triggered me. It very well could be the other person's thing. That word just triggered me or this. But now you're looking and learning for this person or this person that I care about or whatever. I know this, this word choice or me raising my voice or something, whatever the thing is, I know what it is for them that would make them feel a certain way. So that now when my intention comes for the next time, I know I can get it to go across how I want it to.
All right, cool. Did you find something in this that you would share with like some family or friends, like something you feel like people in your life need to grow from or benefit from?
What I would share, I think I would go with your favorite chapter. Just making sure as best you can, which I'm not saying it's easy, you living in alignment with what your values and priorities are. It's a big section on that, on how you can do that and make sure you're doing that, I think that's what keeps majority, if I had to guess, what keeps people up at night or keeps you in an anxious type of state. Figuring out what you want out of life and having a plan of action to go do it. And really, you're not just trying to get out of your own way and figure out how can I make my mood align with the task I need to get done to do the goal or thing I want to do in the future in life. So I would just really tell people to just make sure you're living an aligned life.
Yeah.
What about
absolutely.
you?
I think I got a couple things.
Cool.
One would be the concept of cognitive reappraisal. This is something.
Get the big terminology.
This is something that I've been I try to explain often to some people, and I don't know if it penetrates in the way that I intend. Pause. But cognitive reappraisal is changing the interpretation of a situation so that we feel better. I feel like that is a tool and a benefit that we can all use at any time. Like, I can literally shift my interpretation of the situation and it's going to automatically make me feel better. Like, if somebody says something to me and I feel like, oh, that was rude. Yeah, it might have been rude, but I could literally say, like, you know what? That lady could have had the worst day of her life today. And she literally is just trying to make it home. And not on purpose, but got in her way or offended her or whatever. And I just changed how I perceive what she said. Now I'm like, you know what? I hope she have a good day. And now I'm not like, man, F her. I hope she don't ever come back over here. I hope she missed that bus or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So I think that cognitive reappraisal is a powerful tool. You just gotta and try to use it. It's one of them fake it till you make it kind of rules too.
I can ping off of that.
Yeah, go ahead.
Along with fake it till you make it, a good one that I've seen in multiple books and that was in this one. If you're struggling with fear to get started, it's a good section on law of inertia and talks about all the different types of tricks and stuff we talked about.
Triggers, all kind of
triggers,
stuff. Yep.
getting to know your fears and stuff. Labeling your emotions and finding words for them so that you're actually getting to the root of it. Figuring out
that's
a way.
good. You know, that's one of mine.
We talked one about productivity, discipline, and motivation, discipline, and then just figuring out what do I need just to get started.
Yep.
Faking it till you make it. Sometimes coming up with your own character. That's what they talked about. They brought all the Beehive people. Beyonce having her alter ego of Sasha Fierce so that when she's on stage, Sasha Fierce isn't nervous. Beyonce may be nervous, but Sasha Fierce doesn't get nervous.
Yep.
Bringing in that active imagination. So sometimes you can create a character for yourself, an alter ego if you must, to just get started or get the task done. So now you're like, hey, this isn't me talking. This is Zen P telling you. Zen P ain't scared of nothing. Zen P don't take no shit.
Come on now.
You can play those games again.
Yeah.
Fake it till you make it to get the job done that you need to.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's a lot of, what's the word? I don't know, rebuttal, or you can teeter the line of crazy and teeter the line of all this other stuff, but it's you at the end of the day. It's your things that you want and things you're trying to get done.
The other one I have for like family, friends, whatever, is the 10-10-10 rule. What does matter in 10 minutes? What does matter in 10 weeks? What does matter in 10 years? I think about stuff like that often. Like, I am not going to care about this in 10 weeks.
What's hard with that is that anxious people can have an answer to that all the time.
What you mean?
Anxious people, just like we talked about, right, wrong, or indifferent, and I don't want to make it sound like I don't ever get anxious by saying anxious people, but people who have high levels of anxiety, I feel like, can give you an answer of how this still affects them 10 years later. You know what I'm saying? And that's where you really be feeling
That's a deep level of anxiety.
Deep level, right? Yeah. Right. Where it's almost like worst case scenario.
Yeah. I mean,
who am I to say that's unrealistic for you?
Right.
Oh, yeah, if I don't make it to this date, that could have been my husband or whatever, wife. And you know what I mean? Like,
true.
come up with
that's true. That's good. So, hey, use the 10-10-10 at your discretion.
No. I'm not saying use it at your discretion. It's just tough.
It's real.
It's I don't know. It's tough sometimes talking to someone who can put that level of energy into the worst possible outcomes.
Yeah.
It's almost like what Yogi LG has said one time, and what you focus on, you will attract.
For sure.
I had one more.
All right, go ahead.
And this is talking about when you're making a lot of changes to try and improve an area of your life or make those sustainment changes, you don't need to change everything all at once. I know people keep saying it, but you really need to embody that and try and figure out, again, it hits on a little bit of stuff, manifestation, affirmations, little things you can do. But also let's talk about the cons. If you're making a lot of changes at once, you don't know what the thing was that
got you there.
And that's science 101.
Yep.
If you're introducing too many variables and you're not controlling your variables, then you are not knowing what's the one that's improving. And matter of fact, I think I had a bar for that. I'm gonna look that bar up if you had one more.
No, I don't. I don't.
It's cool. All right, so I was looking for this quote because I didn't want to butcher it. And matter of fact, we can make this the Zen Thought with Zen P.
Come on now.
So this is also going to be my favorite bar. The author of this book, as he mentioned, training to be a surgeon, has mentor or a doctor mentor. And as I was saying, sometimes we get so wrapped up in trying to change so much. We're changing a lot of things in our lives and not focusing on doing small incremental changes for sustainment. So this quote says, if the treatment isn't working, question the diagnosis.
Yep. I think that came from House.
Heck, it could. I'm sure multiple people have said that.
Yeah.
But again, if you are introducing so many treatments, one, you're not even going to know which treatment works, so you're not even going to know the root cause. But as you're introducing those minimal treatments and they aren't seeming to work, all these things aren't working, as Dr. Lindsay knows, Lindsay is our residential house doctor. If you got some symptoms, you just let her know. You just probably got a little, you just need a little... You just need to get a little aloe vera, rub that on there, and then you probably be good. No, you probably should go to the doctor for that one. If it keeps hurting, then go, but that's kind of normal. If the treatments you're giving isn't working, question the diagnosis. This can be going into your word choice for your feelings as well. So like we talked about when we were talking about feelings and things, labeling the feeling incorrectly can lead to the wrong diagnosis. You're trying to treat shame and you're not really feeling shame. You're feeling embarrassed or some other word. So I thought that was very powerful, and it should help you feel a little bit better that you don't have to change everything all at once. You can focus on minimal changes that will have the biggest impact. So asking yourself questions will help you think differently so you can find those different answers or treatments to help cure whatever, I don't even know what you want to call it, whatever you're struggling with. Right. I love how in the book he just talks about, he calls them all experiments. That can help with your relationship with failure as well. If you're treating everything as an experiment and it's an endless journey, growth mindset.
Yeah, that's true.
You're always going to be experimenting because you're always going to be changing. As you get older, all these different factors are going to be changing. So great read to me. For
sure. Anything you wanted to give as far as like something I can grow from?
Hell yeah. No, I'm just like,
yeah, that's cool.
Go ahead, finish your question.
No, something I can grow from, something I can learn from. You can see me changing for, benefiting from, any of that, all that.
I think last we talked, and I don't know if productivity was the topic. However, I just think a plan. I think keeping the plan in your head doesn't help. I think what is it that people say in sports or something or whatever, just in general, you're not as good or bad as you think you are. You're not as great as you think you are, and you're not as bad as you think you are either.
No matter how much you praise me, I still have a ways to go. No matter how much you criticize me, I'm a lot better than you think.
Is that Jay-Z or something?
No, it's just a quote.
Oh, okay, cool.
Coach made us quote in basketball.
Good. I think sometimes it feels like, I feel like you know this too. It just feels like you still just gonna go with the flow with it versus planning out your days. I ain't even gonna put it as a week. Planning out your days to go along with whatever your week goal is would skyrocket and change, dramatically change just
time
things in your life.
All that, yeah.
I ain't even gonna put it in the time blocking. Yeah. That can trickle down from it. I think the start is literally just saying, what's the 2 things I want to do today? Just 2, and then going to the next day and check and adjust. I think that would dramatically. What about me? What's something that I could?
It was 2 things that stood out. One was just a thing that you already do that I was like, man, that the book just called it out. So this is just props. Talking about saying like when you're going to like make a decision, it's either hell yeah or no. Ooh. And that's it. Like if it's not hell yeah, then it's no. And so
that's
I think
tough.
you
That's
say
tough
that
to accept.
it is tough
That's
to
tough
accept.
and do because it feels selfish.
Absolutely. But also, thing I thought you could benefit from in productivity is I know we both get distracted. Like, do shit, and then we just end up getting distracted. It talked about adding friction to the things that distract you. So, making those things harder. So, like, for example, logging out your Instagram. When you get done on Instagram, log out. So the next time that you go in, you can't even do Face ID. You got to type in your password. And, like, it makes
That's
it
beautiful.
just, that adds friction to the distraction. So I thought maybe me and you both, honestly, could benefit from that.
That's beautiful. I definitely can use that.
Yeah.
And thank you for the props. I love a little gas every now and then. Appreciate
yeah,
it.
for sure.
Yeah, I can definitely add more friction into the things that I don't want to be doing that can drain my energy. Yeah, we didn't even spend a lot of time on that. I think we didn't spend a lot of time talking about it because we've heard it in so many books. Atomic Habits is a good book on that as well. But recognizing your cues and stuff, making it easy for your good habits and hard friction, as they're saying in this book, for your bad habits, I definitely can do that. I need that. I think, like you're saying, I do a good job of making other stuff easy and more efficient, but I need to put a little bit more friction in different places in my life. I can definitely do that. What about you? Got anything else?
Nah, man, this is a good read.
It's a good
Honestly,
read.
it's not a super long book, and you can honestly tackle it chapter by chapter. If you're thinking about something or you're struggling with something, find the chapter name and just go in there and kind of read that.
You can break it up, piece it, auto learn it. He has a great YouTube channel. I'm not on there a lot, but he has plenty of videos. I'm sure if you are a visual learner, you can find different videos where he will go into longer details about certain sections. So I thought this was really good, especially if you're not one of those people that like the David Goggins and tough mindset of, hey,
we didn't even just talk about the unblock mindset, like the.
Oh yeah.
There's so much good stuff in there. So definitely go check it out.
Yeah, if you're not one of those that just put your head down and just do the work, can't ignore your feelings, just do it because you need to do it. It's tough. This is a good book for you. You can find ways to still get stuff done and make it align with what you want. Oh, yeah.
Where it's not about motivation versus discipline.
And what's that called?
Intrinsic
motivation.
We talked about intrinsic motive. He talks a lot about that. And so even though that little graph
I know you was rolling your eyes now. So I guess just because you brought it up, that section was really good too. Because it talks about finding escapes so that you're not overwhelmed. Because that's I feel like we could do a whole talk and we might not could do a month of it, but we could at least do a whole literally live. For me personally, that's one of the biggest things I struggle with sometimes is mental fatigue. Or just decision making and how you can start to feel overwhelmed when you're doing the things you say you want to do and still feel overwhelmed from it. Yeah. And finding like we could spend a whole lot of time on that. Yeah. But finding hobbies that make you feel at peace and relax and get you to re-energize yourself. Like I think you've mentioned multiple times, cooking does that for you. Absolutely. You can cook. It helps clear your head. Cooking would stress me out. It would stress me out. And that's, again, my abilities and skills are not there that would make this enjoyable for me. Yeah. Coloring, I think, is for you, or drawing in a book. I know more about you than I'm thinking. What?
What helps you?
Basketball, working out, things like that, going for a walk, competing, just binge watching TV, doing nothing, embracing doing nothing like we talked about. Being serious about your fun. Yeah. But yeah, great book again for people who are not interested in the tough, just put your head down, grind.
Motivation, discipline.
And I can see people debating on these books.
It depends on what you like, but I think this is a good read. Definitely check it out. If you have not already, please hit the subscribe button. Please do. Go check us out on YouTube. We got a mixtape out.
Got a little poetry slam out there.
Apple Music, Spotify, all that. Definitely check us out. I'm one of your two hosts, Yogi LG.
It's your boy Zen P.
This has been another Zen Trap Perspective. If you can't do nothing else, protect your peace.
And protect your energy.
It's the Zen Trap.
We out.
Welcome to the trap.